Let the hot takes fly. Jays and Giants updates around the bases. Box scores, big moments running through the paces. Giants orange burn and Jays blue proud. From the cove to the dome, turn it up loud.
Spring training always gives us storylines, but which ones actually matter? Should Blue Jays fans be concerned about Jose Berrios' injury? Also, let's settle something today. Do Cactus League standings matter at all? Plus, the internet can stop talking about Carl Raleigh's awkward handshake moment. Welcome back to Around the Bases. I'm Almar, and joining me again is Armando. Let's talk baseball.
Thanks, Hallmark. Yeah, let's go around the bases. First base, the San Francisco Giants update. Well, last 2 weeks ago in our last episode together, I talked about uh, roster positions, who's going to have the final age, and it kind of seems that Bryce Eldridge is taking that lead. He's improving with his offense, hitting the high fastball, which he struggled last year. And right now, he's improving very fast on first base. He's below average first baseman from the majors, but the Giants will take that. If they can just have a just high ceiling average first baseman, they would take it because they see the raw talent that he has, and I think it's his job to lose. Juan Encarnacion, he keeps hitting home runs, and I think that's the role that they want him. They just want him like, hey, pinch hit, go hit a home run, right? So I kind of we kind of like that. Fans like that. Organization likes that. I think he's going to make the roster, and that leaves one person out, and I think Luis Matos. I talked about it last time. Reports are that the Giants are shopping him around before the season starts, which is 2 weeks away. He hasn't played that much. Uh, I think his time as a Giant has come up, and hopefully he can spark up his career somewhere else, or he gets a fair chance.
Yeah,
Um, Go
it's
for it.
unfortunate. We were talking about that with Luis Matos when we were doing this first with around the bases. But when you look at Eldridge, you're right about that. Power, the size, the offensive upside, but clearly the Giants see him as part of your future core. But I have a question, Armando. Are they moving
Mhm.
too fast with Eldridge? Because if he struggles early, now we're talking about confidence adjustments and the pressure of trying to stick in the lineup. How concerned would that be with your Giants then?
I think uh, the Giants believe they have the next superstar with uh, with Bryce, and before the WBC started 2 weeks ago now, they had a Giants versus Team USA. They had a exhibition game, and Bryce and Judge were taking pictures together, right? And it's quoted that Judge said, "You're going to be here in 3 years at the next WBC." So, like, the national media has caught that attention, and he's already has a superstar following him. So there's an aura about Bryce, and I think people are excited to see him. And his popularity is growing, especially when someone like Aaron Judge says, like, "You're going to be here," because he's that talented. So I think they can't hide him, right? So this is going to be a booster for sales, jerseys, everything else, right? So this is Giants' number one prospect, and I think that Giants are here to make a splash.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, it's go time now for your Giants. Enough with the waiting game,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah,
So
exactly. It's
you
go
either
time, right?
you either have it or you don't, right? So yeah, it's
Hmm.
go time.
Exactly. So, and in other news, Logan Webb, he had a jam against Team Canada, but we'll talk about that later. Um, well, it was announced that he will get the opening day starter fifth consecutive time in a row. I mean, fifth consecutive year in a row that he's opening the opening day starter for the Giants. So that's exciting. So yeah, like now that I think everybody's just kind of waiting right now. One of the topic is that because Giants fans are so bored because we need anything to talk about, but their the record of the Giants during Cactus League, and I wanted to ask, so they're 16-6. Should Giants fans be excited, or the Giants media? Does spring season count? Right, like they look good. Tony V is playing. It's spurring the lineups back and forth because he's like getting to know these players, right? So he's putting the lineup, like I mentioned last, a full roster, right? Like he's playing his starters because he wants to see what he has. And I don't know, is it a preview of the season, or this? It doesn't matter. Spring training
The
doesn't count,
reality
right?
is most teams are like I said, the reality is most teams aren't even managing those games to win, right? But you're like you said, Tony V is like managing it like it's an actual
Exactly,
game,
like it
but
counts,
that's
right?
Tony V. Yeah, that's Tony V because he's a fairly new manager, but they're experimenting with lineups still. Pitchers are working on specific pitches, and half of the roster won't even be on the team in April. And a
Right,
pitcher and a pitcher might go out there and throw only fastballs because that's what he's working on. The
right,
result of the game is almost like for myself, Armando, and sorry to tell the Giants fans, it's almost irrelevant. But hopefully,
yeah,
hopefully you just keep strolling out of the gate when to start the season because they've been winning in Cactus League, right? So it's good to
yeah,
see that the Giants are rolling. But for myself, I don't really look at standings very like closely during the spring because everyone's like working on something else during the spring
right.
training.
Well, they have the best record in the Cactus League, so that's great. I think he's just a new manager, right? He wants to win every game, right? And so, but we've seen this before. Some teams go very hot in the Cactus League or the league in Florida. Teams start slow or play poorly, or they play really good, and they have the opposite effect when the season comes, right? So this is nothing. I'm trying. I'm not really paying attention to it. So, but yeah, like it's pretty funny to see Giants fans start getting super excited that this is going to be the team when to start the season. So perfect. Well, I believe that is all for the Giants updates. I think we're just waiting on just the seasons to start. We're 2 weeks away.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting now. It's after the WBC concludes, and it's gonna be season opener, opening day now. So it's exciting news for baseball fans.
Exactly. So, well, like, let's go into the second base for the Blue Jays update.
Thank you so much for the around the Giants update there, Armando. And here's your around the Blue Jays update. First thing first, Berrios dealing with an injury in spring training. What we know so far is that according to Keegan Madison, Berrios will visit Dr. Meister on Tuesday, as per John Snyder. We won't know the severity of the elbow inflammation until then. Armando, when you first heard about the Berrios injury, what was your first reaction?
That's not good, especially this so close to the start of the season. If you're going to a specialist to get a second opinion, normally that's not good for a pitcher.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's not good news. Hopefully, like you said, this it's not good news, but hopefully we get some better news, right? Because
Right.
Barrios is one of the most durable pitchers in the rotation. Rarely misses starts. Usually gives you like 180 plus inning stability. Losing that reliability changes the rotation dynamic. So even if the injury is minor, losing Barrios for any stretch could put pressure on the staff. So spring training, we were talking about this 2 weeks ago when we opened around the bases, was supposed to be about evaluating the depth. Blue Jays had the pitching depth before the spring training, and instead of the depth, we might be needed. Like the depth is being tested right now. So Armando,
Yeah.
I'll ask you again: who must step up in the rotation? Should it be Lauer, Scherzer, or Ponce, or should it be like a collective one for
I
everyone in
think
the pitching
I
staff?
think it's gonna fall on Searcher. This is why you brought him back. If there's an injury, he's the workhorse. He's the old veteran, right? So he's gonna tell the rest of the staff, "Hey, I've been here before," and other. So on this year, right, he has the stories to motivate, to encourage the rest of the pitching staff. Like, hey, we'll be okay, right? Like, let's just ride this wave, and let's work together, right? Like, everybody pick up the slack, right? So I think it's gonna be on that type of leadership and experience
I
that you lean
totally,
on.
I Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Armando. And Scherzer has been phenomenal in the spring training. I think he hasn't allowed any earned runs, and he's been
Yeah, he
striking
looked
out
good
a
like his
lot of
last, right?
batters. Yeah,
Yeah, so
he's turning back the clock, so it's good. Good to see. And like you said, that uh that leadership from like a future Hall of Famer, right? Well, we
right.
talked about it. Like we're not saying it's it's he would be a Hall of Famer, right? Because of
Right.
the voting
Yeah,
of
we
the
don't know what.
people.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know what Hall of Fame is this.
So yeah, but having a future Hall of Famer, with like directing everyone, that we would be fine. He would help everyone in the lineup. Then that's good news for the Blue Jays. And I agree with you on that one. But it'll be a collective one from the pitching staff to like handle all these injuries from Shane Bieber and Jose Berrios to start this season. For our second one here for around the Blue Jays, Eloy Jimenez has been one of the hottest bats in spring. So his OPS right now is sitting around 937. So if he's healthy and the power has been showing up, how seriously should we take spring numbers like this from Jimenez, Armando?
I think you look at you do pay attention to it, right? Because you want to see like who has improved, right, on the weakness. Or like have you did you spend time during the off season working on that on those flaws, right? Because you want to craft your talent, right? So you want to add to your toolbox. So I think like that's whether you pay attention during spring training, right? So you don't go if it's because he might have gone 1 for 2, but he only had two at bats, right? Because they got switched already, right? So you're not seeing, but you want to see some type of uh, uh, flashes that gets you excited, right? So
Yeah, I'm excited with he used to be like very good at the plate. So
mhm.
hopefully he's turning back the clock like Scherzer. But if Jimenez gets the opening day nod, someone is getting set down. This is the reality. Like we said with Luis Matos, right? Would if someone is getting set down, it might be David Schneider or Miles Straw. So the question would be, who would be sent down? Is it Davy Snyder or Miles Straw? Would you bring up like a Miles Straw for the I mean not the offense, the speed and the defense, or would
Mhm.
you bring David Snyder for the plate discipline and the power? Like he has power too, but
Right.
who would you
I
bring
think
up?
you would go the first option, the defense, uh, because at one point, like um, you have to have defensive, right? So especially if you can use it as a utility player, right? So to play different ways, right? Because it does. you're gonna hit a wall there where you need players, right? Because there's injuries or 10, 14 DL. You know, you're gonna need that kind of extra gloves out there.
Yeah, and just for context here, Armando, both David Schneider and Miles Straw has like options. I think David Schneider, don't quote me on it. I think David Schneider still has option left. So if
Oh, okay.
he doesn't get the nod at opening day, he can be sent down. So I think the Blue Jays will go that way if Eloy Jimenez gets the opening day nod, go with
Right.
Miles Straw as a defensive specialist, right? And like run the bases when it's tight in late
Right.
innings.
You
Like
kind
I
of
agree
need
with you
those.
on that
You
one.
need situation baseball, right? So
Yeah, and
I will
it's
lean
kind of
on
a
that
duplicate
option.
if you
Yeah.
yeah, and it's kind of a duplicate if you have like Eloy Jimenez and David Schneider anyway. So I think the Blue Jays should lean that way. I agree with you on that one, Armando. And that's your around the Blue Jays update for
And
this
I
week.
well, quote me wrong. Like, where the Blue Jays rank on defense last year? Because I don't see them as a great defensive team. Uh, they have good starting pitchers and a power lineup, right? So that's what comes to mind for the Blue Jays. So that's why I say like a defense of it will be great in those baseball situations.
Yeah, Blue Jays have been one of the best defensive team throughout like the 3 years. They won back to back Team Gold Glove.
Nice.
They just missed the Team Gold Glove last season. So this management, Atkins and Mark Shapiro, they really value defense. So I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
They
So
got Miles Straw for his defense. So yeah, that makes completely sense.
right. So I think so too because when you compare it to who's going to be the man out, I think Luis Matos uh, is the one man out because he's 220, 223 batting average the last couple of years, right? Like with under 20 home runs. So where you have Encarnacion just a power, right? But then um, Davis, Rafael Davis, and it looks like Everett will be the rotating between DH and first base, right? So then you could just plug in a Encarnacion. So that's why I kind of say it, right? Like they don't need a defensive glove for Encarnacion, right? So because they have it covered.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, this is the toughest part of
Hmm.
baseball when you do have to like cut players or send them down to the minors, right? But this is business,
Yeah,
and
like and
the players know about this.
it's just players trying to make the bubble, right? Trying to get the opening day roster, right? And it could be just for one thing, and that thing one might be like you're a defensive player, right? So you might need that, right? So
Yeah. It's just like when we're talking about Miles Shaw, he was like he wasn't doing anything in the World Series rather than like that trying to be on base. But when he's at the plate, he's like an auto out. That's the only bad thing about Miles
right,
Shaw. But everything else, the defense is there, the speed is there. So it can help. He still can help the Blue Jays lineup in some other way, right?
right. Well, let's go around. Continues to third base uh, with our topics of the week, and one of the biggest topics this week, and even just the last 10 days of the World Baseball Classic tournament. So there's been quite a bit of drama. I'm not sure if you've been following up with the the group stage and then the quarters and semifinals right now. So it's been pretty exciting. We have GMs who are against the tournament. We have Riley not shaking his teammates' hand. We have so much attention from this tournament now, and I think when people were thinking about this, uh, five different tournaments. This is what they envision: so much popularity, right? So, and one of the biggest stories is like how the rest of the world are celebrating. They're playing with so much emotion, passion, while Team USA is just like Captain Serious. They don't celebrate. They don't get. They're not really into it, right? You have Team Italy. After they hit a home run, they take a shot of espresso. They got the Gucci jacket, right? The DR, who is just a party the whole time. Uh, Chinese Taipei, who were cheering in tears because they avoided eliminations, right? So you have all this the fans of Tokyo applauding the one of the Great Britain players, right? So like it's just so much emotions. Um, so what is your thoughts on this tournament? First of all, like, or give me your thoughts. Give me your hot takes.
Well, for the emotion side, you see the professionalism
Mhm.
of Team USA. If you don't see them celebrating like the Dominican Republics of the world, the like you said, the Chinese Taipei. What was it? Chinese Taipei who was crying, right? I think it was
Yeah,
Chinese
a couple of
Taipei
players, yeah, like
who
they
were
were just
crying.
crying because, yeah,
Yeah, because that's pure emotions from their side. But don't get the Americans wrong if they were celebrating they were celebrating that much when they hit a home run, right? But the passion of the Dominican Republics, the Venezuelan, the Puerto Ricans, those are the baseball eccentric groups, right? You've seen them play.
yeah,
We've seen Vladimir Guerrero play in the World Series, in the playoffs. They're that passionate, right?
all
They
right,
show their emotions. So, but if you don't see that emotion from the US, don't take that away from them. They're just doing their business, right? They're
I,
they're they're they're, they're still there to win.
yeah. So, well, they slipped into the tournament, right? So the fact that they're already advanced to the finals is like, holy cow! You were like because of Team Italy who allow you to come into to advance, right? So, when
Oh,
Italy beat
since you
Mexico by
mentioned since you mentioned Team Italy, I would ask you that question, right? Because the way it played out is that if Mexico beat Italy with 4 runs or less, USA gets out, right?
yeah,
Would you, as a team, try to eliminate the juggernaut Team USA from contention from WBC and try to just let let Mexico win?
right, right. I think that this is the beautiful this is the beauty of the game right here, right? So no one thought of Team Italy. No one knew. Like, are there actually some people are like, oh, they're Italian Americans, right? They play for the Chicago White Sox, right? So like, no, they're not. They're not household names like the Team USA. So they're out there uh, putting what they like. They're putting on Team Italy on the map, right? So this we have baseball players as well. Um, So, and I'll answer the other question with the DRs, where you see a lot of countries showing their passions and representing their country because that's a lot of like especially the Spanish countries. Some of them it's their way out of poverty, right? So like Team Japan, what are we seeing from Team? They showcase all their best talent for the U.S. market, right? Same thing with Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. They show their talents. This is our. No one knows this catcher, but guess what? He's gonna open a lot of eyes in this tournament, right? So GMs, organizations are just lusting over the opportunity to find the next star. While Team USA, well, sometimes they don't have the best stars because you know why? Because they're trying to play for um they already know like they're making millions of dollars, right? So it's not a and that's it's not something they need to do like other countries, right? Because they're already stars in the US. You know, I think that's when you see different countries playing with all their emotions and passion, right? So like the love of the game, because that's why they're found, right? So I think it's a little more privilege of the U.S. players, right? With their road traveling, staying in hotels, like 813, right? And then college, like you're well taken care of playing in the U.S. versus other countries.
Well, I agree with you with the passion because William Abreu's bat hasn't landed yet for Team Venezuela, right? When he hit that
Yeah,
home run, that bat hasn't landed yet. So we'll have to see the passion
yeah,
with
exactly,
like
right.
with this.
Tatis, the grand slam that he hit, he stood a whole plate for 9 seconds admiring the home run that he just hit, right? So I love to see that, but I see the GM size. You might call me a hypocrite because I really enjoy seeing the emotion celebration, right? Like what baseball brings. But I'm also like on the side of like the U.S. Like this is not the goal to win the tournament here. Like our goal is the World Series, and we don't want to get injured at this 2 week tournament. So I can go. Um, so I don't want to get injured because I won't be any help with the team, right? So in a sense, one of the GMs that spoke out negative towards the tournament is actually Buster Posey. He said, and I quote, "We're also seeing over the years that it can derail some pitchers because there's no way to replicate getting yourself ready for essentially a playoff baseball atmosphere early in March." So in a sense, I'm like with the Team USA, kind of like, well, and the rest of the GMs, this is not the goal. Uh, it's the World Series is the ultimate goal for us, and we don't want to get injured or anything. So I think for like a player like Young Lee, who played for Team Korea, they got eliminated. Uh, Young Lee has been playing great at the World Baseball Classic. I think like Young Hoo Lee, has been injury prone, and that was his knock in when he was playing in Korea, that he always got injured. So he has played great, and I'm kind of like, can we just bubble wrap him now, like, and ship him back to Scottsdale so he doesn't get injured? Because literally, I don't want to see any of the stars getting hurt during this event. As much as I do enjoy watching it.
But like this is what separates, I think, you and I with World Baseball Classic and like the actual baseball, which is your actual goal, which is World Series, right?
Yeah,
I know it's an actual goal. We've seen the Olympics now, how it is different, way different, if the NHLers are there playing
correct,
against non
correct.
NHL players. So if you take this away from the Vladdy Guerrero Juniors of the world, the Soto, the Otani, who's gonna be playing for WBC now for baseball, right? If you don't allow MLB players to participate, right? Like Tariq Skubal, he went back to Detroit because
Exactly.
he doesn't want to get taxed, but he was throwing 98 miles per hour against the Blue Jays in spring. So what's the difference? What's the
Right?
difference? You're
Like
not taking it slow.
I think that's the fear of the GMs and US players, because they're kind of like, I don't want to get hurt. Like he had one start and he went back to Florida. Like it's almost like that fear, like, oh shoot, I don't want to get injured, right? Like I'm pitching pretty good. So I think that's the difference between like uh it's business, right? Like in it's business, and I don't want to get injured for this 2 week tournament, right? Like it's kind of weird that he just went. Like I thought that the team was calling him. Like no, he actually he left the team, Team USA, which is kind of weird.
And I agree to this to a certain extent. Like you're protecting your body. Like Tyreek Skubal is gonna be a free agent towards
Exactly,
the off
right? So,
season. So you gotta protect yourself. But then again, you're trying to like wear that flag on your chest, right? That's once in a lifetime experience for most of the players. And to see, like you said, like you kept saying, those people from the third world countries, the underprivileged countries like Dominican Republics, the Venezuela, and the Puerto Ricans, like the people from that, like the younger generations, watching their idols play.
mhm,
That's what this tournament is all about. And like you said, with USA, they're really privileged to watch everyday baseball.
mhm.
I don't think those countries have every, like they can tune in to all the MLB
Exactly right. Yeah,
MLB games, right? So
right.
it's different. It's different for each country. So like, but I do understand the business side of it. But if you take this away from the players now, in 2 years, who are we
No, I
watching?
agree with you.
Who's gonna be playing?
It's that's why I said like I'm kind of like a hypocrite because I love what the tournament has become, but uh, I also don't want to see anybody get hurt, right? So, and I think this is like we see this in other sports like NBA and NHL, right? Like where the leagues are saying like, yeah, you're not going to the Olympics, but we see how the sport has grown because they're showcasing their best talent, right? Because they want to see the best against the best.
Yeah, there was a talk about this with baseball, that because they don't want like the players getting really ramped up early this spring, right? And they were like they were saying, I don't know, I don't quote me on it, but I just saw like a discussion about putting it like towards like the mid season, right? Like
Yes,
take away
yes,
the All-Star break, take away the All-Star
correct.
break, right? But I'm not sure if that's gonna go well too, but I think that'll be a talking point because they don't want players like really ramping up early this spring. But that's part of the spring anyway,
Yeah,
right? So,
that's
but
yeah. So
I really it's a catch 22 kind of thing. Yep. Like you
yes,
just hope and pray that your star players don't get injured during this tournament. But it if the stars are not playing, it's not gonna be the same.
exactly right. No, I agree with you. It's yeah, it's a catch 22, right? Because we like seeing the rest of the world and their talent, and we see Jervis was one of those, right? So a lot of Asian pitchers who have made their that's when they stepped up to the spotlight for the rest of the world to see, right? So Roki comes to mind, right? Like who was this guy, right? Yamamoto, like the largest pitcher, like who are this, right? So like that's when they're ready to come to the major league, there's already a following because they
And
remember
for
their
and
outings,
for
right?
Yeah, and for
And,
baseball, this is not a contact sport like NHL, right? Like
mhm.
hockey. The injuries would be like, I'm not saying it's very minimal. So, but if you're a pitcher, you're starting pitcher, you can go like Tarik Skubal, like an all star, right? You can just pitch Tarik Skubal for 2 innings and then patch it up like that, right? So you
Yeah,
Tariq Skubal doesn't need to go the five
no,
innings, six
and
innings, right?
I think like a lot because of that business mind, I guess you want to say, not fear of getting injured, but you don't see Team USA with the best pitching because the best pitchers are not going, right? This year was supposed to be Scuba and Skiing to go leading Team USA, but that fell apart very quick, right? You don't see stars like other countries, right? So like 3 years ago uh, when we saw Shohei against Trout, right? Last out of the bottom of the ninth, striking out Mount track and Otani pitching over 100 miles per hour, right? So you love seeing that, but you don't see Team USA bringing their best pitchers.
Well, they have the luxury of like having like a
It's-
lot of players, right? So
yeah. So that's why, but it's a catch 22, right? Because we enjoy seeing the other stars, but Team USA is normally from the bats, not from the pitching side of
yeah,
the things.
and yeah, just to wrap this thing, the
Yeah.
WCB. What do you think about Cal Raleigh and Arozarena's handshake? Then,
Oh, it's Bush League, man. That's your teammate. The Mariners traded for him 3 years ago because they wanted to get to the playoffs or they wanted to be. He's been battling with you, like you've been going to war to the playoffs, trying to bring Seattle a championship, and for you to disrespect him like that in front of the whole world to see. Uh, and again, after the game, Arizona, like he was interviewing, he said it in four different ways, uh, four different languages, right? Like it, pretty much saying like you're shit for saying it, right? Like it's a, uh, yeah, it's a bush league, man. Like I lost a lot of respect, and also voters are very hard, right? Like that's what we joke about. We don't know what's a Hall of Fame these days because voters will gain offense and keep you out of now both for you for MVP or the Hall of Fame, right? So for Riley to do something like that, some a writer might vote choose not to vote for him for the MVP, right? So because those writers hold on to a fan, so for him to do it is just not a good look for him. The Sierra Mariners and or even just baseball.
Raleigh wasn't even voted last season, so he didn't. he
Well, he was running
didn't get the
up.
MVP vote.
He was
So,
running up.
but
Like it's gonna hurt him now going forward. That's my thing, right? That's my point.
yep. I I think I have a different take on this one, Armando. This is a nothing
Okay.
burger for myself. This is a competition, and you are representing your country. Like you said, like I said before, you don't see NHLers like Team Canada players high fiving their teammates from Team USA in the Olympics, but we are just used, like Armando, we are just used to baseball players being goofy and friendly even when playing against each other. And
Yeah.
when we saw Carl not shaking hands with a Rosa Reina, we react quickly and it in a bad way too, right? But Raleigh should be worried more about his plate production in WCB rather than not shaking hands. He's 0 for 9 with 5 strikeouts. And he was
but
benched
but
today.
but would you say that other sports like soccer, with their handshake, give each other the flag, right? For their flag from their competitors' country, right? So like fighters will touch gloves, or basketball players will uh, give a handshake, like right before tip off, right? So like there is a respect still with it. Uh, there is still a respect within competition, right? So what do we love? So, what do we say that Shohei Ohtani is a class act, right? Because we fall in love with him going to his first bat, greeting the catcher, greeting the opposite bench, right? Like he's showing that respect, right? So for Kyle Riley to do that, just didn't show any respect, um, and this is a group stage game, right? So we love the story between Paul Gasol and Kobe Bryant, right? Like him running through, running through him, right? But they did before that. They did shake hug before the tip off, right? So there's still some type of respect. So I think that's where I see it as a completely disrespect.
Yeah, well, I agree with you on that one. When a batter taps you, when you're walking into the plate, you just recognize the player, right?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, sure thing, right? But I think Cal Raleigh was like emotion
Yeah,
of I'm not playing for Mariners right now. I'm not playing for Seattle. I'm playing for Team USA. You're not my teammate at the moment, so don't be friendly with me. Don't be friendly with me. I'm trying to beat you right now.
you're right.
So some players are
Yeah,
built different, but it just looked really bad for Cal Raleigh at the time. But just
yeah. Well,
for myself, just brush it off.
hopefully there's no animosity when the season starts, right? So if things are not going the Mariners' way, if there's tension, hopefully it doesn't carry over. So hopefully the reports are true that they there's no beef, like they're squished off, everything's fine. Hopefully.
Yeah, I love what what Josh Naylor did when Team Canada was playing against Cal Riley and Team USA. So basically, Josh Naylor texted Cal Riley, "I'm gonna shake your hands," and Cal Riley said no, and Josh and and Naylor tried to shake hands with him.
Oh man, that's funny. You gotta have some fun. So, anyways,
Well,
that's
yeah,
my
well,
take. Anyways, like let's go with the closing remarks now.
yeah. What do you think you want to talk about Kyler Murray being like a baseball player before we end?
I There was just a great talk. There's been a lot of topic discussions about Murray since he was released by the Cardinals, and pretty much football has not worked out for him. Right, he was a first overall player in two different sports. Right, so he's still in his has the A's still have the right for Kyler Murray. So there's been a lot of this. Questions like should Kyle Murray actually focus more on baseball than football because it's been in a sense it's been a failure for him, but he has made a lot of money. He has signed a 1 year contract with the Vikings, but what do you think? Should he be a should he pursue baseball?
No, that ship has already sailed, Armando, for Kyler Murray. Like you said, he's making a lot of money. Like you said, I'm looking at it right now. He signed a 1 year, 1.3 million deal with Minnesota Vikings, and the
Yeah.
Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals are still paying him 36.8 million like guaranteed salary, right?
Yeah, he doesn't need
Why
the
would you
money.
even play? Yeah, I know. So just just be with NFL, be in the sideline, just cheer for your team. Even like it it it's a competitor side of every player, right? You
Yeah,
still want to like prove that you still have it, even if your previous employer didn't agree with what you still
yeah.
have, right? So you still want to show that you still have it, but I think he's still Kyler Murray should just stay playing football. That baseball side of his that baseball side of him has already ship sailed.
I think so too. I would like for him to see it. I would like to see it, him trying out baseball. We see a lot of football players who play both ways, right? Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, they play both ways, right? We seen like Tim Tebow giving it a try. He made it up to Double A, right? So other athletes, Russell Wilson, he went swing training a couple times, right? So I think for the Rangers, I believe, or the Yankees. So like it's great to see it. Um, but but yeah, I don't think he can catch up. It's been a lot of years since playing college baseball. He can't catch up to professional pitchers throwing 100 miles per hour. That he doesn't have that at this moment, right? You will have to give up at least uh, commit yourself to 3 years, right, to get into baseball shape. And I don't think by that time, if he commits, he will be 34 years old, right? So I don't think that. I think, yeah, you're right. That has shifted.
Yeah, like pictures of like throwing gas right now around 97 to 100. I think when he first started, it was like around 93, 94, right? Even 95.
Well, that was college, right? College baseball, right? So they're not throwing 100. So, but anyways, yes.
All right. Yeah, yeah, that's a good topic for Kyler Murray. Like you said, I agree with you. That ship has already sailed for his baseball career. And that's going to do it for this episode of Around the Bases. If you enjoyed the conversation, make sure to like the video, subscribe the channel, and drop a comment with your thoughts, especially on the topics that we discussed today. We'll catch you next time on Around the Bases.